Okay, I'm live now. I wasn't before. Welcome, AADL patrons. What? Welcome, AADL patrons. I'm thankful that you're here to join me during this weird time during the coronavirus with the libraries closed, but I'm thankful that AADL has provided me the opportunity and us the opportunity as employees of the library to give some benefit to y'all Ann Arbor residents as a community. And it's awesome to be here doing a live lesson. We're going to be doing the basics of lead guitar. And if you didn't know already, or probably, I don't know if a lot of the employees at AADL are very talented musicians. And I am a musician, and I stream shows live with almost every day, or once a week sometimes when it's busy. So I know how to play a little bit of the guitar. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of lead guitar. We're going to be doing a G minor pentatonic scale and a G major pentatonic scale. Are you able to turn the camera so that they can see like the guitar any better? So first we're going to start up just real quick with tuning the guitar, because that's important. We're going to be at what's called 440 or in E, and you can tune along with me at home if you have a guitar or if you are just learn how to tune a guitar. So you're going to play the first note, and you're going to want that. You can get a guitar tuner. I use Guitar Tuna, T-U-N-A, on an app store, or you can go to YouTube. And that's going to be your E. Next string is going to be an A. Next string is going to be a D. That's your D. Next string is going to be a G. Next is going to be a B. And lastly, the octave, the high E. All right. So once your guitar is in tune, this is a tuning of the E 440, we're going to learn scales. And the most important scales, I think, first of all, I want to start with why when learning basic guitars, you don't go straight into tab. So the way I started guitar is I wanted to learn how to play two songs, Stairway to Heaven and One by Metallica, and Led Zeppelin for Stairway to Heaven. So I went onto a tab and I learned like, and then I learned One. I'm surprised I still remember that. I was like 13. So I learned those two just by tab, and I would have saved myself a ton of trouble if I would have just learned scales first. Because essentially all these guitar solos for lead guitar are based on some sort of scale. So if you know the patterns, you are able to play them a lot easier. And if you start out... slow down. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm not teaching you guys that right there. Sorry. What we're going to do is just learn the basic scales, but that's how you get there is through the scales. I would have saved myself actually a lot of trouble by learning the scales, and I actually now I practice scales every single day, and the biggest one is the pentatonic scale for lead guitar specifically. First, let it be noted that I am not really a lead guitarist. I started out playing lead guitar, but that's not really like my bread and butter. But that is probably the easiest thing to learn at first. Of course, style is somewhat subjective, and some people might find different things easier. But personally, I found lead to be the easiest thing to teach new guitarists before they move on to some other things. You could also argue that there's some basic rhythm guitar that's pretty simple too. But lead is going to be probably the easiest for you to learn starting out with guitar. And that being said, we're going to start out with what are pentatonic scales. I was once in a YouTube video. This is one of my favorite guitar analogies of all time, just because it doesn't make any sense. It stuck with me. He said if you were on an island and you could only choose one scale, you would want to choose the pentatonic scale, the minor pentatonic scale in E. I don't know why you would ever be on an island. The analogy doesn't make any sense. But you get what he's saying. It's a very important scale. So first, we're going to start out with actually the major pentatonic scale in G. And how you get a penta is 5. So it's the 5 notes. And you have a regular scale, a G scale, a G major scale, is going to start on the first fret, or the 3rd fret, first string on the E string. So on this E string, the very top string, if you count the frets, 1, 2, 3, it's going to start here, and you're going to use your middle finger to play the note. And the scale for G is going to be, but with the pentatonic scale, it makes that a lot easier because you take out some notes and you only use 5. So you omit the 4th and the 7th note, and then you're left with your major pentatonic in G. So you're going to go 3, 5, and then you have on the A string on the 2nd fret, the 3rd, 3, 5, 2, the 3rd note, and then you're going to skip the 4th note, so you're going to skip the 4th note, and then on the A string go from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret, and then on the 3rd string down, the D string, 2nd fret again, and you're going to then finally end with the octave. The same G that you started with in a higher octave, which is on the 5th fret of the D string. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the octave. So that's starting at the 3rd fret, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. And that is basically the major pentatonic scale in G. There is different positions, but these are the notes that you're going to be playing. Are there people commenting, questioning? What's that dinging noise? It is my phone. Slow down, you're an expert. Okay. So, those are the notes for that. So, if you want to, there's different positions for these 5 notes. We're going to start with what's called the 5th position, because I think it's the easiest. There's technically 5 of them, but the easiest one for the pentatonic is going to be so you have a G, which is the first string on the 3rd fret, and you're going to be playing 1, 4, So let's pretend that this part of the guitar doesn't exist, and we're just starting with this note is 1. If this note is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you were going to start going 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. So the top note is a 1, 4, or the top string is 1, 4. So 1 to 4, or 3 to 6 if you prefer. And then the bottom 2 strings, the E string and the B string, are 4, 1, 4. And the rest of them are just 1, 3. 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. And then what you would do, so basically my advice as a guitarist would be practice that scale. If you want to get good at guitar, practice that scale over and over and over again. What? What?
I can do that scale.
My brother Nicky could do that scale. Can you do this, Nicky? The basis of that is a song by Santana, and it's all done in a pentatonic scale. And the way you get to playing that and stuff that's even more challenging that I can't even play, if I had to give advice, is just being very good at switching all the way through the scale. So the minor version of the scale, once you know the major, the minor is just taking what's called the relative sixth, or the third note in the scale, and making it flat and using that as your bass note. So with the G, we're going to be using the relative sixth of a G is an E, and you would be using the E instead of the G. So in this scale where we have G as the bass note, you would have E, which could be an open E here, or for simplicity to see on the 12th fret, an E here. So if you play that same pattern, the same pattern, 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1. Same pattern. That is because we start with the E note. It's a E minor pentatonic, and you can do that starting with an open fret as well. So with the open, all your E's are just going to be an open E. So you're going to be playing open, 3rd fret, open, 2nd, open, 2nd, open, 2nd, open, 3rd, open, 3rd. And minors are often used more in like a blues. So if you're doing minor, you would... And I'm trying to do simplistic licks here because my brother keeps telling me slow down because I'm going too fast. If I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. It doesn't, once you know the shape, 1, 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4. You should be able to play this at a slow speed, and hopefully you're not trying to follow my fingers, and you're looking like 1 3 1 3 if you're doing this with basically guitar. All right, it's about 7:17. I have till 7:30. So with now you basically have with major and minor pentatonic scales, and this is when we would start to introduce with these scales if you're playing around with them. Once you have this down really well, and you start getting bored and you can play it frontwards and backwards and you can play it in your sleep, that's when you would want to start improvising with things such as sliding and hammering on and off. And that's the basis of how a lot of songs are made, like with Stevie Wonder's Superstitious. We're superstitious. With that, Stevie Wonder's is just basically the pentatonic scale in a different form than you've seen. He's going 1 3 1 3 1 3 or 1 4. We started the 1 4, but that basic 1 3 or 1 4, those shapes, being able to go. Is the basis for a lot of songs. So once you learn how to do that, you'll be able to play a lot of different songs, and it will come to you very easily, and you'll be glad you practice those scales. So let's start with, let's look at that Stevie Wonder song just for a second to learn how he incorporates bends and slides. So this is more style and accent. It's not really bending and sliding. So let's go on to bending and sliding, because that's what I'm not going to do like accented notes. That might be like basic number 2. But let's start with 1. Let's go with hammering on and off. So to do a hammer on, what you're going to do is you're going to, let's start with the G, which is the first fret, first string, 3rd fret. And by the way, you don't need you can either know the string and fret position, 1st string, 3rd fret, or the names of the notes, G. It doesn't really make a difference. You don't have to know all the notes, or if you know the notes, you don't have to know. You'll be able to get along just fine, so don't be overwhelmed if you don't know like the name of the notes or anything like that. But on the 1st string, which is an E, on the 3rd fret, the G, you would strum it and release the note, and then without strumming, because normally when we've been playing, we've been strumming every note. With a hammer on, you're going to let that note ring, and then you're going to take your other finger. You're going to take your other finger and just hammer it on to the next note. And this can make something sound a lot different. If I'm hammering on all the notes of the pentatonic scale, it's different. This would be strumming versus hammering on. Or I guess if you're strumming the first and hammering the second. then when you hammer on, you can also hammer off. So if you practice this, you can also hit the note and then release to go back. And that's basically how you get that that really cool like guitar nose you hear people doing. Is just hammering on and not hammering off. And then some people will do it with 3 notes or 4 notes. And that's all, it sounds very complicated when you start adding more notes or more fingers, but it's all the basis is just at its core, it's okay, so that hammering on and off is very important. And very cool, so learn that. And then also bending. When you're bending a note, you're bending a note up to a different note. And usually the note is going to be, you can do an octave or a half octave usually. So you could do the note. So this note is the same as the note directly above it. So if I start at the D string at the 5th position, and I bend that upward, I can bend it up to the 4th string 5th position. And this is going to take a little bit of practice to be able to bend to a specific note. But once you practice hammering on and off and bending, I think that's really the basis for what you need to start practicing scales. And then you could spend the first 5 years, if you want to do playing guitar. I would recommend probably like 1 year before moving on to like lesson number 2 and learning other stuff, but just using hammer-ons, hammer-offs, and practicing mastering going up and down the pentatonic scale doing different licks. So those are, yeah, that's like basically the basics of lead guitar. Those major and minor pentatonic scales. And then where the rhythm would come in is if you get a buddy that can play a chord, they would be playing an E. So let's say they're playing in the key of E. He's playing an E, and you can solo in the key of E. I gotta play both parts at the same time. But, so with this that we learned, the major pentatonic, you would be soloing in the key of G. So you could get together with a buddy knowing nothing about rhythm guitar and just be like, hey, play a chord progression in the key of G. And they would play chord progression in the key of G. And then you would just play riffs. And no, that's how much time I have left, 3 minutes. So, and trust me, once you get this down, specifically, here's an example of if you like master this, what it would sound like being able to do hammer-ons and hammer-offs and slides. Did I go over sliding? I didn't go over sliding. So basically sliding would just be sliding from one note to the next note. Sliding. So like in Dream On by Aerosmith. They incorporate all of that into their solo. So this is going to sound complex, but all it is at its core is scales with sliding and hammering off. I'm playing this wrong. Which I can't even play it because I can't hammer on and slide and do stuff. Need to go back to my basics, start playing more scales. But that's a really cool sounding guitar solo. And it all starts just with basic fundamentals of lead guitar. So let's go over that last scale one more time, the major pentatonic in G. And so it's going to be the first string, 3rd fret, go into the 6th fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret, then 5th fret, next string, 3rd string, 5th fret, next string, 3rd string, 5th fret, next string, 3rd string, 6th fret, and last string, 3rd string, 6th fret. So that is the very basics of lead guitar. And if you enjoyed that and you want to see more, let me know. I have other ideas for guitar videos. I could also do the basics of like classical guitar. If you guys like classical guitar, I'm actually a little bit better with classical. I know lead is the most popular, that everyone wants to learn how to play a lead guitar with a Les Paul. That's the most popular one. But any genres you want to learn, or if you want a guitar lesson for a certain song, I'm not going to work, so I have nothing to do, and I would love to try to help you guys, teach you guys, learn a skill while you're probably at home as well. You can also do ukulele. You can do ukulele or piano or saxophone, anything you guys want. I don't play the trumpet though, except for the trumpet. And that will be all. Thank you for everyone who showed up to watch and learn the guitar, and thank you to Ann Arbor District Library for letting me do this. Thanks, guys.